Modded. Right guys, welcome back. Andy Work again with another Show Me the Modded thing. As usual, deadline is the 13th of the month and the video is uploaded on the 15th. Okay, first up we have Mr. Black Wolf with his work on a rival takedown. He says the Zombie Strike is his favourite series, so he's taken to creating True Brutes using blasters that were never part of it. And this takedown has inspiration from the Hammer Shot. He's added a hand-painted wood grain, which looks very nice and very well done. A black bandage on the grips. Some bloody scorekeeping marks and a large Z logo. And all the internals are stock. And he says he has seller's remorse because he sold it off a week ago, apparently, before he sent the images in. So obviously the rival version of the rough cut with an internal magazine, apparently. Very nice paint job, very well executed, straightforward. The wood grain finish is really, really nice. I think I've mentioned that already. And even the big logo he's done, he's arranged it working along the lines of the body, those diagonal lines, so that looks very, very nice. And on close inspection of this body of the takedown, it does lend itself well to being painted up. It's got panel lines marked in it where you can run your tape along really easy and do all sorts of crazy little designs. Yeah, very nice, Mr. Blackwell. Very nice. Okay, next up we have one from SD Rebel Trooper. And he says, "Hello Andy." Hello. Again with another Nerf mod. This blaster mod is of a rampage to look like an E11 blaster rifle from Stormtroopers, blasters seen in Star Wars. And it's a very good choice for a conversion because it's basically the shape you need it straight away. The blaster was previously featured on Captain Xavier's Fan Builds episode 9 under my old name of Big Swede. I think I remember that. In that video I mentioned I plan to do modifications to the blaster in the future, and these are the results. Cosmetically nothing much has changed other than I upgraded the front sight to be more accurate and then touched up the paint. Internally, however, it is dramatically upgraded as I installed a short dart rampage kit. The kit has improved its power, range and accuracy. Not chronoed it yet, but playing around with it, it looks to be about 100 to 110 FPS. Since the blaster is all black, it's used for LARPing and closed Nerf wars only. However, I'm currently working on a more friendly coloured shell on my spare rampage, and that is a good idea. Always have a nice friendly one so nobody gets shot. Very nicely done. An all black blaster is visually not that appealing. It's just because, you know, you can't see much of it. You could do some dry brushing, you could bring up some highlights and shadows, but everybody's got their own taste, everybody's got their own skills. I'm not harping and criticising here, I'm just saying different folks, different strokes. Looks very nice. For those who are interested, the original weapon they used for the Stormtrooper blasters was the Sterling submachine gun with a cut down 3-round magazine for blank firing. But the Rampage is really a good choice. I even like the way he's got the longitudinal rails at the front of the barrel just on the originals. I remember seeing one somebody made way back in 1977 after the movie just came out. Very good scratch builder. And I was talking about it, and he said he used dowel rods, which were then, once they were cut and shaped, they were painted with a wood sealer. So the wood grain wouldn't come up once you actually painted them. And that one looked really, really good. But this is really nice. He's done a really good job on here. Can't fault it. An outstanding representation of a Stormtrooper blaster. Well done, Rebel Trooper. Well done, indeed. Right, here's one from Gary A, and I featured him before. He does some really nice, neat integrations. He takes a lot of time and, you know, really works it in well. And this is no exception. This is what he calls the Moculus. Love the name. And he said, "It was my first real try at making an integrated blaster that looked like something Hasbro could have made, but didn't." Yeah, tell me about it, Gary. Hasbro have not done a lot of things that they could have, like making an adult line of blasters, maybe in grey plastics that don't appeal to the kiddies, and just give us the shells so we can do all our own internals. But they haven't done that, and they probably won't. Okay, he says this is a Modulus ECS-10, obviously, with a Hyperfire stock and lower handle, running Krakens with Bulldog wheels in a Morpheus 42mm cage. Now that pretty nicely done. You know, painted up, that'd look wonderful for cosplay or something. And this photo here showing the internals of it, he must have been thrilled when he found that those two tabs on the Hyperfire stock fitted perfectly the two pins on the ECS stock, if that's the case. I mean, I would have been thrilled if that happened. I'm planning to do an ECS mod myself, and I may just integrate this Hyperfire end somehow. But this is a really nicely done piece. And the final photo, he's got just a close-up of the wiring. I think it's basically to show off the cute little 3D printed mag release he's done. It's almost invisible in the blaster shell, but it looks like it'll work fine. Very nice work, Gary. I'm really, really impressed by your stuff. And I'm going to have to reach out to you and maybe talk to you about something special. All right, moving on. Right, here we have some more gorgeousness from Nerf Herder. This guy's work is impeccable. The weathering, the wear, the detail, and even the simple use of the colour palette. Three main colours, dark green, the gunmetal, and a little touch of yellow. It's following the 60-30-10 rule of interior design with 60% main colour, 30% accent colour, and 10% detail colour. And he's really done it well and applied it really cleverly. And I did a quick search and found an unpainted example on Xshot's website, and you can see how he's used that diagonal line at the front near the three holes to make a demarcation between the upper shell and the inner body. It's really, really cleverly done, and he's done a little bit of mod work there with bits and pieces. He's even put the paint on light enough not to obscure the carbon fibre effect on the magazine, and he says this is an Xshot meteor which fires rival balls. I imagine it's issued to breaching assault units of the US CMC squad, small enough to handle in 0G and capable of firing in a vacuum. It's a large caliber, and I imagine is ideal for blasting hull steel and piercing xenomorph Chinititis carapaces. Thanks for that. Love pronouncing words like that. The build details, he used Games Workshop lead belcher acrylic spray, Humboldt olive drab acrylic spray, and Montana shock yellow, and inked accordingly, which I'm assuming he means the weathering, the dark recesses. And he also apologises for this not being an actual Nerf blaster, and that's not a problem, mate. I want to see all sorts of things, and your work is just too beautiful to pass up. Really, really well done. Very, very envious. Very envious. Okie dokie, on to the next one. Right, next up we've got one from Orwell's Warning, and that doesn't sound ominous at all. He says it's my first internal mod, a modded strife with M2.0 motors, worker flywheel, 42.5mm printed cages, S2 battery. All internal mod parts ordered from out of darts. He hasn't chronographed it, but he'd say it's around 100 FPS. The blaster's name is the Popped Culture CQC Close Quarters Combat. It's a strife modular silencer attachment with a Raider stock. And it's a very nice combination the way he's put it together. It looks very nice, short, and exactly what it's supposed to be, a close quarters blaster. Now, the cosmetic paint job is Montana Gold spray paint after a white primer with a hexagonal pattern. And I'll put a close-up in here. Code red, citrus yellow, a marble white grey, a black paint pen. He's done that, what do they call it, the comic book paint job. I can't remember how it's referred to now, but it looks very, very nice. It's very neat and clean, and really makes the blaster stand out, and a very safe paint scheme, even in, you know, blues or even greys for outdoors, because it couldn't really be mistaken for an actual weapon. It also has cosmetic lights and switches, on-off switch, battery level indicator, LED, 10mm bright orange LEDs inside of the silencer connected to the trigger. Oh, that's clever. And a raised thumb screw for the battery door, and a 3D printed mag release as well. All over, it's a really nice looking blaster, straightforward, easy to handle, and the paint job is just great. I'm assuming he's used some sort of stencil for the hexagonals. Yeah, he didn't paint them by hand for sure, but really well done. And this close-up shot of the body actually gives you a good idea where to put your heavy black marks. Just picking out details, bits and pieces, and you don't have to be consistent. It's really well done. Right, last up today's, guys, is the first blaster, to my knowledge, that is from a young lady. I'm assuming that from the name, Freya. It's a Retaliator pump action mod. She says this is the first attempt at a pump action Retaliator, made like 30 minutes before sending the email. No internal upgrades, and I wasn't sure how to keep the pump from moving up and down, so it just wiggled around. As you can see, she used some metal bars there to attach the front pump to the slide on the Retaliator. She seems to be having some problems with it. It's not attached correctly. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. I have emailed her, asked for some clarification. It may be she's got stuck in the trap of having put the bars on the slide first, on the Retaliator body, and then finding that the other end where it attaches to the grip isn't long enough to fit over the grip. You have to put the grip on first, then you can do it all, but maybe she just wasn't aware of that. I know I made the same mistake when I did my first one. But other than that, you know, if it's your first mod, it's pretty good, looks good. And I'm assuming it works when the pump works. Nice first try, especially, 30 minutes old. Excellent, excellent work. Right, guys, here's one I've forgotten about. According to the date stamp on the email, it was sent to me a month ago. Sorry about this, Papa Bludgeon. But here we go. These are his two modded Ultra 2s. He calls them the Ultra 2 Black and White. The Black Ultra 2 has been modded to fire Megas using Steampunk's Mecha Conversion Kit, and has been rewired for a 3S, and also includes a new grip heel. And it's also got an orange trigger, which means it hits a lot harder than normal. Now, the White Ultra 2 has been modded to fire rivals, and as far as he knows, he's the only person who have done this so far. It used parts of the cylinder plate from Steampunk's Mega Kit, plus parts from Wubs Games IO Blaster. I created a new trigger mechanism and epoxied it to the existing trigger. This trigger spring has been replaced with a much stronger spring to assist with trigger discipline. I also created a clip lock for the rival mag, but it's not that effective. And again, a new grip heel rounds out this build. So there we go. Better late than never. Somebody's actually making something useful out of an Ultra 2. I've got one, I think I've used it as a doorstop. Impressive getting it to fire a mega rival rounds. That's pretty cool. Well done, mate. Right, guys, on with the slideshow. Cue the music.